complimentary of us and how quickly we were able to process that. We did have a couple of meetings afterwards with the governor's office and Bill Cork with MDA, as well as with the public utilities. And what I'm going to try to do is plan a meeting for all of y'all that might be separate from this to just talk through some of their feedback to us and some of their recommendations. One of the things that really came out of that meeting with the governor and MDA was that we're kind of being given a once in a lifetime opportunity through the power plant. So they have made strategic recommendations for us of how to make some investments moving forward that will make Washington County, but also the Delta, more competitive. They were very excited about where we are at today. So Delta Compass's grant dollars increased by 416% this year, and Washington County's Economic Alliance increased by over 200%. So for the first time ever through the county EDO, we had over $1 million budget to invest in Washington County. The governor is willing to align his CDAP with MDA site selection and grant program, but that will require some local dollars on our behalf. So their biggest recommendation to us is to try to use the power plant to set a millage towards economic development for the county, somewhere around 1%. Similar to what Tupelo and Columbus did about 10, 15 years ago. And I think we've all seen what it's been able to do for their communities. So I have hired Chuck Sexton with the $250,000 that we were given from Walton Family Foundation. He is pulling that plan together for all of you, and I will try to present it either in January or February so that we can sort of back into that millage rather than it hitting a budget this year and messing up anything that might already be in place. We did finish up with Headwaters on the Leland site. We are probably going to make an announcement sometime the second week of December. I'm just waiting on getting dates back from Entergy Mississippi and also MDA for that. That will make Leland the only qualified site in the Mississippi Delta, which is good news. So I will get some of that information over to you for that announcement. All the due diligence has been done. So because there aren't any rules and regulations of what someone can make an industrial park, the public utilities in the state came together to make sure that phase ones were done, phase twos, wetland reports, cultural reports. Essentially qualified means that it's shovel ready. I mean, like, you could move in tomorrow. So they're more competitive, but y'all will have the only one in the Delta. And it's more my fault. I'm half deaf.
Identifying some sites. They were available, they were ready when they did an announcement, some projects with the governor last week. And so the concern is, is Leland on that list for those sites? And if not, how can we get on that list with MDA?
So MDA received, the money that was announced was about $110 million to get sites qualified. We were the recipient of the funds, so they gave us the match dollars in 2023 for the Leland site. They have to be expended before you can apply again. So yes, we got our round of it in 2023. They just announced the round for 2024. The thing that we probably want to look forward to doing to make that site more competitive next year is if we are able to pull together the one-to-one match through y'all setting a millage. What we want to start working with on the Leland side is getting it rail capable.
Railroad?
Yes.
Okay.
Once it's rail capable, it's a much more competitive site. Other than that, all the due diligence on it has been done.
So to make it real capable, of course, the site is right down the street from the railroad track. So what we need to do for that?
We would need to contact the railroad company, and we would probably look at subsidizing a portion of it through MDA and local dollars.
Okay, and so with the millage piece, like what kind of millage are we looking for that? Because I want to put it in our budget for the upcoming year.
It depends on the counties. I would recommend a minimum of 1. So some counties, it's much higher than that. Like when you look at the coastal counties or the ones around Jackson Metro or even like Northeast Mississippi. For us, I think looking at our budget and what's going to come from the power plant, a 1% is probably going to be the most likely scenario. And with that, we're willing to make any sort of commitment within it or sign something to the county. I do not plan to use that for, exorbitant salaries or anything. We need those dollars to start building our product for economic development. And I mean, that was what was sort of communicated in that meeting. The Delta and specifically Washington County, because of the energy generation that's coming from this power plant, we could see a complete reversal in economic fortune in my lifetime. I mean, this could be over the next 20 years. We could actually see us having a huge demand in terms of economic development. These things come very rarely. I mean, this is the first power plant to be built in almost 70 years.
Right.
Yeah.
I just saw how the governor, they were promoting that map, and they had the dots, and it was only one dot in Washington County, not many in the Delta. And if we're, getting a site ready, I want to make sure we get that site ready to be on that list.
Yep. So we were on the list last year, and it's like I said, you have to expend all of the funds before you can reapply. They are very open, so that was part of our conversation during the meeting after the announcement. He plans to align his CDAP dollars with MDA site development plan. So the CDAP is just for the Delta under DRA. We will apply for those, and as long as I get that, I'm happy with the governor's office. If we can have that plus the local match, then when we go to MDA, we're talking about applying for millions rather than thousands. And with those amount of dollars, we can actually develop the Leland site, we can develop the one at the airport, and then even put some additional things within the county's industrial site.
That's what I was going to ask next. Like, what are other possible locations we can start preparing for sites to be shovel ready?
Yeah, your 3 prime Leland industrial site, probably some additional dollars going to the port, and then that 600 acres that's above the floodplain at the airport. Now, within the county industrial park, there's probably 2 sites that are left that I think would be competitive, but the vast amount of that land that's kind of that 700 acres over there, it sits within the 100-year floodplain, and the cost to build that above is unlikely. So that's why I would say the other 3 are probably our prime to begin developing those out.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Justin? We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Warren.
Good morning. Good morning. So first thing is the bylaws. I did email you all a copy of the bylaws. Did y'all get them?
Oh, we got that, but we got it on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, yeah.
So we need an opportunity to review unless people are ready.
Yeah,
I know the
that's fine.
Attorney's not ready.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I just wanted to make sure that y'all did get a copy and look over, and please email us back, call us with any type of concerns or any other revisions that you may have with the bylaws.
Okay. It's just a rough draft, and we'll make sure the clerk's office has a copy.
Okay, that's good.
I'll do that. I'll take care of it.
Okay, another thing that we want to look at is the employees. That we're looking, we can't hire the employees unless the bylaws are approved, that Attorney Griffin said. So, but we do have questions for us. Who's going to manage the employees? Is it going to be a county employee, or would they be an employee of the sportsplex? I know questions came up for us. Benefits. Are they gonna get full benefits? If they're gonna get full benefits, there'll be a full county employee. If they're not gonna get benefits, then that'll be. So we need to get that straight moving forward before we begin to advertise with those employees.
Yeah. Yes, I think what we need to do just have some more discussion about this and exactly how it needs to be set up and how we need to do it. And that way take a little time to make sure that all this will be set up, if that's all right with y'all.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you, but I think it should be understood. We're using county dollars, so clearly they're county employees, and they will clearly get benefits. I mean, they're providing service for the county, and we're.
Well, I think what he's getting at is now if they're going to be an employee of the county, will they fall under the supervision of the county? And if they are employees by the county, surely they would. Or would they be an employee that would fall under the Sportsplex board?
Well,
I think that's what he's asking. That's some things we need to discuss.
Well, we've already discussed that. Initially, I was trying to get it created as a department, and Mr. President McGee, along with Attorney Griffin, was real clear we need to create a commission.
Yeah.
And we created that commission. So you create the commission, the employees falls up under the commission. I mean, that's how it works. It's not like it comes back before the board, because if we was doing it as a department, yes,
Yeah.
we're not doing it as a department. We took a vote, And I agree with, Mr. President McGee and Attorney Griffin that the commission was a smart way to go. So when employees come, they fall up under you guys. I mean, we don't have no retroact. The only thing we do at this point is create a budget. They man their employees.
Well, the thing about that, you've got, you know, you take like the city. I mean, they have a millage that goes directly to their park commission. We do not have that yet. We don't have that. That comes from directly county funds, the general fund basically, where that comes from, and what y'all generate also that comes there. You know, all the other that may fall up under the county, you take like the hospital and the port and all those, they fall up under it, but they are not actually county employees.
Right.
This one will be a county employee, from what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
A county employee that will get insurance, will get, you know, everything that accounts. So that is a little different than what we're talking about. That's why I'm saying we need to have some more
Yeah.
discussion about that before I'm willing to make a decision.
I'm not ready to make a
Yeah.
decision today, but unlike the hospital and the port, we don't give money to create a line item. It's a line item in the budget. I'm not gonna hit you, Attorney Griffin, you okay? 'Cause if I hit hard. But we have them as a line item in our budget. We don't have the port as a line item, nor do we have the hospital as a line item. Now, we did give money, ARPA dollars, but we have them as a straight line item because it is a line item in the budget and it's taxpayers' dollars going to it. Yes, they will be full-time employee. Only thing different is we created a commission. Each board member appointed a commissioner to create this commission, and they make the decisions, not us. Only thing that if they come back, let's say they need additional dollars, you know, they can come to us from there. But other than that, they make the final decisions. And the other piece, I'm glad you brought up millage. You are correct. Millage we should at least have 1% or 2% going to them to be able to man and keep them going, because at the end of the day, they are the decision makers. You know, we don't micromanage. We appointed someone, we created this commission, and so it falls upon them on their employees. It falls upon them on how it's ran. Of course, if we having some dilemmas, some financial dilemmas, and they need additional funding, that's when they come back to us.
Anyone else? Demetrius, got a job description for that position?
Yeah, we do, Attorney Griffin has a job description.
All right, we'll
All
need
the
to,
job description, he has all of them.
all right, we'll need to review that and see where we are. What's the pleasure of the board? I'm not sitting well
Well,
with
it's not really
this.
requesting anything today, are you? I mean, what are you requesting today?
Well, we would just need to have these discussions.
Yeah, that's,
And
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
move forward.
I'd like to look at the bylaws
Yeah,
and
it's-
those
okay.
things, yeah.
It's all
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought they asked for clarification on who was going to manage this particular position.
Now, if you ready to say that day, we ready.
No, we're
But
not.
if you're not, then, you know, it's.
Let's look at the
it's- yeah.
bylaws and stuff like that. Let's do
And
that.
job description, we'll
Yeah.
move forward. Got some serious concerns.
Also, too, another question that we need to answer is for the budget. The money that we're making at the sportsplex, does that money go back in the general fund, or does that money stay in our budget?
It should stay in there, y'all budget.
Not something, don't say should. Ms. Carter, answer the question, please.
No, that goes back into the general fund. When y'all, created a budget for them, which exceeds way more than they generate. What they generate now is just county money, but they have their own budget.
I understand, but when they generate dollars, those dollars are gonna go back into the parks to make it a better program. So why would it go back into the general fund when we because I know it's additional things they need.
The park is general fund.
Well, I think we probably need to go back and correct that in the future, because if they're generating dollars, clearly it should go back to the park, not back to
That's
general
just like
fund.
You have the convention center who generate revenue from renting. That money does not go back to the convention center because now you've established a budget for them.
I understand, but it's different because we have a commission. We have a whole commission. So,
All right, you come over, Mr. Turner.
Let me just, budget, county budget, and any budget. With respect to the sportsplex or any organization, once funds are generated, they become county funds. If you got a budget of $100,000 and you generate another $100,000, that don't mean you now have a $200,000 budget. You still have a $100,000 budget. That money, that that excess 100,000 will go back to the county to do whatever the county sees fit to do with it, okay? It's not, because it's excess money that was generated as a result of your budget that came from the general fund, it goes back to the budget. Now, if you were operating neutral and detached from the county as a sportsplex, then yes, because you would generate your own budget, but you're not generating your own budget. Your budget starts with county government, and any money generated in excess of that will go back to the general fund of the county. Now, here's how you, and we had that discussion at one of your meetings, when I told you, in order for you to increase your budget in any way, you would have to come back to the county and show that you suffered a loss, or your budget is in crisis or in the red, and you ask the county to increase the amount of your budget during the budgetary year. Otherwise, you cannot have any additional money in excess of that $100,000 or whatever the county gives you.
Attorney Griffin, I do have a question.
Let me get
Oh,
Supervisor
sorry,
Gordon.
Lee, go ahead on.
That, I think he said the word detached, you know, they're still attached, and that's why I want to have some more conversation, how we go there. And here's the thing about it too, in reality, we said, I think what we said, $250,000 in that budget, I think, 200. In reality, in the next budget session, whatever needs is gonna go back in there anyway and to operate. So in reality, it's gonna, whatever it takes to operate, it's gonna, we're gonna make it right. So again, you know, not directly in that line item, but in reality, once we set the budget up for next year, that will be money we'll use to be able to set your budget for the next year. And I think the attorney said, if you see where's a shortfall, you know, then we need to, on the front side of that, to be able to set that budget. So in reality, you know, it is going back in there, you know, the next year or whenever we need it, so.
Oh, no, Ms. Brooks, oh, no, Ms. Brooks.
No, I mean, Supervisor Gordon pretty much said the same thing I was saying. My only concern, you said if they're going into deficit, what if they want to expand, it's not a deficit? They clearly can come back and make requests for those dollars. Am I correct, Mr. Attorney?
Of course, they can always
Okay.
come back. If there are things that you need and you see this is not something that's within your budget, you can come back and submit that to the board and allow the board to decide whether to increase your budget to compensate for that or not, okay? But generally speaking, you cannot do it without first coming to the board.
Correct, yep.
All right?
Okay.
Just last thing, just remember, like we said, this is just a building block. You know, we've got one full year behind us, and we're building this as we go, and I think we're all aware of that when it began, you know, y'all and us, you know, that we need to build on this, and what works we do, what don't work we get rid of, you know, so, okay.
And the last question that we do have is, as far as being an all sports venue, and other sports, because we are looking at for those job descriptions, making those positions year round, so we would have to add other sports to that instead of baseball. So that's something that we have voted on with our board, we are looking at doing so we can incorporate all those in under our board. So I think that's another discussion we think that y'all need to have too.
Okay.
Well, actually, from the beginning, that was the conversation I was saying from the beginning. I thought we were all on that page. And if your board made that decision, aren't we just supposed to accept it, Attorney Griffin?
They you know, they can decide as long as it fit within his budget.
That's right.
He has authority to add any sports he wants if it fit within his budget. Okay. Now, if it increases your budget, then you gotta have that conversation with this board.
Yeah.
When you say any sports he plays, you know, we already have a commitment with soccer.
Soccer,
That's been going along fine.
baseball,
Oh, they got baseball.
Basketball.
basketball.
We got,
don't have basketball.
but we have a,
But my
Excuse me, Ms.
point
Brooks.
is,
Ms.
my point is, if they can afford to pay for basketball, and they examine their budget and conclude that right now, we can make basketball happen within the frameworks of our budget, they can do that, Mr. President.
All right, well, Mr.
However, if they cannot do it, and there's a need for additional funds, they gotta come back here and justify.
Okay. All right. we'll see. We'll work
Thank you,
with
Mr. Attorney.
that. Anything else, Mr. Warren?
That's it, thank you.
All right, you know, we just still need, job description.
Yep,
Yep.
what I'll do is when I get back to my
I
office,
do
I'll
have it.
re-email it to everybody. So-
Oh, no, he's fine.
Oh, okay, he can give them to you then, yeah,
Oh, no.
If you mind, would you email me the
Yeah,
job description?
We'll
Thank you.
circulate it.
that'll be fine.
All right, any other questions, Mr. Warren?
No, thank you.
Uh-uh.
One other thing, you and I need to meet and have a conversation.
Yes, sir, we'll do.
You the attorney for the sportsplex or the supervisor?
Until
thought you
appoint
both.
one, I have to be, I don't have much of a
But
choice.
that's not what you said. Now, don't be flip-flopping.
Now, I'm not flipping on you,
Okay,
Mr.
no.
President.
All right, let me move
Until
on.
they,
Let me move on.
they hire an attorney, they gotta have legal advice.
Thank you,
I,
Mr. Warren.
we didn't hire you as a board attorney. We didn't appoint you as a board attorney. Well, we gonna have to do that.
You good, Ms. Brooks?
But yeah, well, I don't think I got the votes right now.
You may have.
You good, Ms. Brooks?
When I need to speak, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
All right, number 6, Mr. Mark King, Boone Funeral Home Director, discussing Harper's request. I've talked with the coroner, and what you got? I've talked with the coroner, and she's actually made the request that we move forward. And what that means is the coroner will manage the interment with the Harper's burial, manage the records and everything, and she'll get with Mr. King and have the transport assist them in picking up, you know, the remains and take care of everything as normal. So I just need the board to approve a pauper's burial.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, show by the sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Torres, she's requesting serve alcoholic beverages at Washington County Convention Center December 28th.
So
at
moved.
an event. Got a motion? And a second. If there are other questions, all in favor, show a sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I got one nay. Make sure you get your paperwork squared away and sheriff department's notified.
All right, thank you. You guys
No, thank you. Latoya Winston requesting to serve alcoholic beverages at Washington County Multiplex Building December 21st for a family reunion.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second, Supervisor Redmond. All in favor, show by a sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 9, we have on the list of Mr. Eddie Brown Jr. I didn't. I got one name, I'm sorry, Lee. All right, number 9, Mr. Eddie Brown Jr. requesting use. That's what kills me. Use of the Washington County Convention Center. We've already made a decision on that. Some kind of way, Ms. Brooks, you wanted that on the agenda?
No, I didn't place that on the agenda.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I did not.
All right,
I gave
then
the
we'll
three.
bypass. Go
Can
ahead,
I? The 3 things I added to the agenda was not made to the agenda. Thank
Not
you.
added. All right, good enough. Okay, we'll, y'all had to carry that one? Number 9, I just move on.
Well, what you do is just delete it.
All right.
Motion to delete it.
Give me a motion to delete number 9 and a second. Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Continuation, what time is it? It's not 10 o'clock yet. It wasn't the time. All right, continuation of public hearing for Walter Ray Sr., 10883 Abad Road. All right, taxing parcel, that's the number. Cleaning of property. Ms. West Moore is not here either. All right, we're gonna bypass that one and hopefully she'll show up. Now let's go to the additions if we can. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them. Ms. Stacker. Ms. Stacker.
Yeah, I'm not sure how my name is put on the agenda, but I'm here, in support of our initiative to become the specialty pharmacy for the county. I was gonna come first.
Talk to who? Yeah.
All right. Once again, good morning. I'm here to support the initiative to become the specialty pharmacy for the county. I'm here with my pharmacy director and people that are representing Leadway to show the benefits of us being the specialty pharmacy, not only as part of the hospital's initiative to be the county hospital and for everybody in Washington County, but to be able to get some cost savings for the program. So I'm gonna let them introduce the program to you. If you have any questions for me later, just let me know.
Thank you.
quick introduction. So I think y'all probably been aware that we've seen some growth in the cost of pharmaceutical drugs over the past few years. Go ahead and hand that out, because I want y'all to see, over the past few years, we've gone up to over roughly about half the spend of the total county's dollars on pharmaceutical drugs. So for a while there, I've been looking for a solution to reduce those costs. If you're not aware of how this works, typically with specialty pharmacy, you typically have to buy the drugs, then you get a rebate. It's like the jeweler that's selling you a ring for $100,000, and then they'll give you 75% off if you buy it from them today only. That's about how the pharmacy business works, and specifically the high dollar drugs is what we're talking about here today. So me and Jay, who's the head of y'all's pharmaceutical benefit manager, he took over about a year ago, and since then we've been having discussions of how can we reduce the county's costs. Well, there's programs out there for rural hospitals that are called 340Bs. So we were noticing in another area somebody else utilizing that, and so I went to Jay and said, hey, is this something we can do? If so, how do we need to go about it? Well, luckily he had a relationship with John Michael here, and let me go ahead and introduce everybody. This is Jay Goley, Leeway Pharmacy, and John Michael Dill. He's with the hospital. He's the pharmacy director, and then obviously y'all know Ms. Stacker. So we had a meeting a few weeks ago to establish what we think might be a reasonable certain list of drugs that we could produce the largest amount of savings with the least amount of headaches to your employees. There are much more aggressive approaches we could do, but this is going to provide a significant, I'll let Jay get into the exact numbers here in a minute, a significant amount of savings, while really the only thing we're doing is requiring somebody to get their drugs a different place. And in doing so, I actually think it'll be a much better experience for your employees. One of the things they're going to do is hand deliver some of these high dollar drugs, and some of these have to be, they really don't need to be packed and shipped, and that's how they're being done now. They will be hand delivered in a much more cost effective way. So with that, I'm gonna let Jay kind of go over a little bit of the dollars you're spending, and then talk a little bit about how this would look. And at the end of it, I do want to make a recommendation that y'all adopt this as a part of y'all's program.
Thanks, Brett, and thank y'all for your time today. Like Brett said, currently the county has Trust Plus as their pharmacy benefit manager. I acquired Trust Plus at the beginning of the year, and so part of that, when we said, hey, we need to grow, we need to go in some other states, so we're having to change the name to Leadway. So while it says Leadway, it's the same company as Trust Plus. We just had to change the name. So we're the same people that you've been dealing with for the last several years.
How long y'all been in existence?
Trust Plus started in 2002, I believe. Yeah, it's over 20 years.
And y'all just changed the name recently?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, there are state laws now in other states, and actually Mississippi has adopted it as well, that don't allow the word trust in a business name because of banking trust.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so in order for us to grow our footprint, we had to change our name.
Gotcha.
But yeah, with that, I come from the specialty pharmacy world. I had a transplant pharmacy right outside of Jackson, and so I know the kind of the ins and outs of the quote unquote game that you have to play, like Brett was talking about with rebates. But when Brett came to me, and you look at some of the drug spend that Washington County's had, it's getting up there pretty high, and I won't go over those numbers. I've got them in front of you, all of them. But the total plan increased from 2022, 2023 to 23, 24, 15, 16%, or I guess right at 15%. And the plan paid 15.8%. So the county is paying more and the employees are paying less. So that's a big deal, and another 15% increase would have the drug spend at over $3 million next year for Washington County. And you look at that per member per month, drug spend on, I guess it's the second page, at $438. That's really high. But like Brett said, we think we've got a solution. 'Cause right now, if you have a specialty medication, the specialty pharmacy we're contracted with is F&M Specialty Pharmacy. They're located in Jackson. And they've been a great partner for us, and I think they've taken good care of the employees for a number of years now. But I think we're to a point where the drug spend has gotten so high that we had to look at other options. And like Brett said, I've had a relationship with John Michael for a while. I told Ms. Stacker at our last meeting that I sort of, before I came to this world, when I was still in the pharmacy world, I tried to steal him a couple of times from the hospital. Luckily, he did not. He didn't take me up on that. But so that's, we would basically transition the patients from F&M Specialty Pharmacy, where they're required to use F&M right now, and we would transition that to the county's specialty hospital, or the hospital's specialty pharmacy. We did a deep dive into the numbers to look at, hey, what meds makes the most sense, what meds give us the most savings, and that's those kind of the list of medications there. The numbers, we would be moving over about $750,000 of revenue to the hospital's pharmacy, with savings from where we currently are of over $500,000.
I have a question, just
Sure.
trying to get clarity.
Yeah.
So right now, the hospital is using F&M Specialty Pharmacy?
So the hospital is not. The county employees, let's say I'm a county employee, I take a specialty medication. Currently, the plan would require that I get that medication from F&M Specialty Pharmacy. So we're changing that from, instead of saying, hey, you need to get this from F&M Specialty Pharmacy, we're saying, hey, you need to get this from the hospital's specialty pharmacy.
Okay, so question, the
Yes, ma'am.
items is, the medications on the back.
Mhm.
All these medicines coming from, we get them from the F&M?
Most of them, not all of them do, but most of them currently are required to get from, the county employees are required to get from F&M.
Okay, the multi-source, what about, you get that from F&M as well?
Some of those may come from F&M, not all of those would come from F&M. And those are, the multi-source drugs, those are drugs that right now, their employees are getting brand name. It would be a much cheaper option to either get the generic or get the brand name from the hospital specialty pharmacy.
Okay, so what about if they get their stuff like from Kroger's? Is that still coming from F&M as well, or, I'm just asking.
No,
I'm trying to
no,
understand.
F&M is a separate pharmacy from
Okay.
Kroger, yeah.
So would they just go to the hospital get it for them, and that's how they get their medicine? At this point?
Yes.
Okay, I get you.
Lee?
So this would just affect the specialty drugs?
We've got a few other, like the Farxiga, Jardiant, Januvia, Janumet, the Ozempics, Jardiants. Some of those aren't necessarily specialty, but they're drugs that are kind of in the $500 to $1,000 range, where there is substantial savings that the county can see by moving those.
I like the idea, and it helps the hospital also.
Yeah.
I like that, but just a couple questions that
Sure.
that I would have with that. Okay, so let's say, for instance, they're out of it. They're out of that drug.
Mhm.
Then can they go, or do they have to wait, or what?
No, we would absolutely put in an override where, and that's I guess the beauty of this. If John Michael said, hey, we can't get this one, or the 340B price has skyrocketed, then we could say, okay, let's maybe transition that one away. Or we can certainly put in an override and say, hey, they're out. They need to get this one from Kroger or from one of the independents in town.
And you were talking about hand-delivered, that some of these drugs would be hand-delivered. I like that. But the other thing, what about, like, the hours that people do pick them up, or Saturday, Sunday, or something like that? Would that be, I could see that possibly being a problem.
Yeah.
If somebody, wanting, pick some of these up on the weekend or Sunday, what hours does the hospital normally, what's their hours in the pharmacy?
So our pharmacy currently is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But if the county felt like we needed to extend those hours, that's on the table as well. And of course, we could offer delivery service on the weekends. It's just kind of what, we don't want to inconvenience the county. We're trying to offer this service and save you guys money, so whatever we can do to,
Yeah,
inconvenience
well, I
you guys
just
a
wouldn't
little.
wanna have people where they couldn't get
Sure,
their,
that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and F&M, and most specialty pharmacies are like this, they're open Monday through Friday. And so if we would be in the same boat right now, and granted, we are adding a few non-specialty drugs on here, but for the most part, they're
Well,
Monday
it's
through
just-
Friday
as
currently.
long as it's still convenient, it's just
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer, because you're keeping your dollars here in
Yeah,
Washington County.
absolutely.
As a hospital, so, I do like that, but I just, again, so you don't ever foresee a problem. If there was, you couldn't get the drug, no problem, let somebody go to Walgreens or anything like that.
Yes, absolutely. We,
Quickly.
yes, yeah, we can easily put in that override and allow it to go through at another pharmacy. Yep.
And I will tell you, this was part of an effort, this was probably not possible, 6 months to a year ago. The software that he was using didn't allow us to do this. These were handpicked on purpose. This is providing the most amount of money to the county, savings. If it was cheaper for us to buy it in the traditional sense or using rebates, you're gonna continue to buy it that way. We're
Yeah.
literally going line item by line item, drug by drug to find out what's saving the most money.
Well, I guess, the last two questions I have. So, what do you see, what's the savings to the county?
So on the very last page, by the savings by moving the drugs to Delta Regional, I've calculated at least $500,000 in savings.
All right, that's great. And what do we see the profit of the hospital from that, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to prove points.
I've-
Savings
sure.
to us and income increase.
I
for y'all.
stayed out of that. I said, hey, I don't, because I'm the middleman. I'm the
I
pharmacy
just wanna-
benefits
it
manager.
sounds great to me that,
Yes.
that the hospital can profit from this. I mean,
They ain't gonna do it for free.
It would be about the same.
And I went to them and I said, hey, tell me the price that that you want to do these for, is how we came up with that. And so
so
we,
in reality, for this county, it would be $1 million if everything went right,
Upwards.
Yeah, upwards of
Yes.
$1 million, overall.
yes. And
The impact it would have in the county.
Yeah.
Because again, your employees live here, they spend money here, and it's a county hospital.
That was the whole point of this plan, was
Yeah,
for
okay.
the county to use the county's hospital, to keep that money here in Washington County.
All right, what is it you all need from us?
I have a
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
comment. I think it's a wonderful idea coming to the county, but honestly, I did not know that you can go to the county and get your medicine. I've never known that. I think we need to make sure all the employees know this.
The hospital?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the employees should know that they can go to the hospital and get their prescription filled. I never knew this until today. I will start using the hospital now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a wonderful idea if we can save dollars for the employees. Also, bring in revenue to the hospital. I think it's a win-win.
Please,
There is.
give us your name.
there's
Give
one
us your name for the record.
John Michael Deal,
Come on.
pharmacy director. There's one caveat. With the 340B program, there are certain compliance issues. You would have to see one of our prescribers for one visit. That way we can document your health record and everything, and then that prescriber would send that prescription in to our pharmacy. So that is the one small inconvenience that might, impact the employees.
So
But
Now,
it's
wait a
one
minute.
visit a year.
you just do one visit a year.
Ms.
Other
Griffin.
than that,
Ms.
you
Griffin.
get prescription
I'm
from
gonna get
anybody
I'm
else,
gonna get you, Ms. Griffin.
any other doctor, then you still can get your
That-
prescription
Yes,
filled.
ma'am. That
Okay.
doctor would, let's say y'all come to the wellness center, that doctor would send in that prescription for the full year, you wouldn't have to come back, you're taken care of for the whole year.
So what about like a mammogram? If you come in for a mammogram, would that be considered a visit?
No, well,
We'll outsource you to your current doctor.
yeah,
Okay.
You'll see that doctor, they will suggest you go to the doctor you're already familiar with.
right. visit would just be for the, basically putting a note in our system that we're caring for you and we're sending in this prescription to our pharmacy.
Thank you.
The doctor you're
all right.
already seeing.
You can continue seeing them. So,
Mr. Griffin?
seeing this one doctor would just be to take care of that one prescription that we're talking about.
All right.
Are you not overriding the patient, physician relationship that this person has with?
We're not
with
going to
their
do
general
that, no,
doctor?
sir. All this physician would do with Delta Health would be just to put in your history of your present illness and send in refills for that medication and then refer you back out to your primary care doctor or your specialist.
Then are you not suggesting that if there's resistance in coming to Delta for that visit, that this person would be denied health care?
They would not be denied, but the way the 340B program works is they have to see a provider at the 340B covered entity. Now that provider can then refer them out to their regular doctor, but if they did not use the 340B, then we would not see any savings at the 340B pharmacy.
I would like to see the regulation on that, because that sounds troublesome to me. That there would be a requirement that this person has to have at least one visit to Delta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is 340B federal?
It is, yes.
Well, we can't control that then.
Yes. But if there was an employee that said, hey, I don't want to go there, then that's fine. We wouldn't be able to get the savings from there.
And are you developing that relationship with these physicians, the hospital? And here's the reason why. When you go to a physician, they would generally ask you, what pharmacy would you like for us to send this prescription to? Now, if you're not doing the necessary work to develop these relationships, then obviously they are not going to be predisposed to make a recommendation that you to allow us to send this prescription to Delta, even though some of them may be on the staff at Delta.
Yeah, well, there's a rejection in place that the pharmacy receives when they submit that claim to our system that would say, hey, they've got to fill this medication at Delta Health. Currently, if you were on one of those specialty medications and you went to Kroger, they would receive a rejection that said, hey, you've got to fill this medication at F&M Specialty Pharmacy. So it would be the pharmacy would get a rejection on their end when they submit that claim electronically, and then that would alert the pharmacy, hey, they've got to use a different pharmacy here, or they can call us and see about getting an override.
But there ought to be some line of communication or some public relations coming out of Delta to and from the employees, to and from these physicians, so that this thing can flow smoothly. You don't want someone, like Mr. Gordon said, to have a delay in receiving appropriate medications that's been prescribed by a physician.
Yeah, absolutely. And once we get approval, if we get that approval, then we would send out those letters and alert all the members and let them know the plan and what the potential headaches might be. And it's not something that we're going to say, hey, you're not getting this medication. I don't care if it takes you a week or 2 weeks to get it. You've got to get it go through all these steps. We understand it's going to be a process. And I'm a pharmacist at heart still. And jumped through hoops the last 10 years of my life to make sure my transplant patients never went without their medicines. So I'm on board with you 100% there.
Just two things. One, we have the residency clinic, but the residents can see those patients. We can have special hours that the county employees can come and get this done. We will make it as easy for them as possible. But I do want you to understand, this is nothing new. Those of you that might have a managed care plan with Medicare or a managed care plan with your own insurance, you would come in and they would go, okay, you're on Eliquis, you have to pay $800. Okay, well, I can't afford to pay $800 every other month for some medicine. So if I go through my 340B program, I can go to that doctor that works at Delta, get my prescription done. I still have my relationship with my doctor, but now I'm paying $35 for that Eliquis instead of $800.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing, is that it's the same drug because of the 340B federal program that we have in place. It's cheaper for that employee, it's cheaper for you guys, and it's more beneficial. But that patient still goes to their regular doctor, nothing has changed. We are not taking anybody's patients, we're probably sending them back to you saying, hey, make sure your doctor knows that this is what you're doing. We're just trying to help the county save money, help the hospital be a part of what I've been trying to do for the longest time, changes the relationship and making people understand that we are here for this county. And we are here to do anything that we can to help at all costs.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion that we leave F&M Pharmacy and go to Leadway Medicine with Delta Health System.
Is that what y'all are asking for? Is that would be?
We're allowing this, asking to allow this to be the specialty pharmacy, and then
Yeah.
we can manage that properly.
Let me phrase that, let me phrase it be the specialty pharmacy, thank you.
Second. I
You
didn't
take,
know you
take,
seconded that.
take F and M out of your motion, okay?
All right, be clear.
Uh,
Let it be clear.
To authorize the use of
I'd like to
Leeway.
make a motion that we use, Leadway as a specialty pharmacy.
Delta Health. Yeah,
Delta
sorry.
Health.
Leadway Pharmacy with Delta Health Systems.
Stop.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor of the motion, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It's unanimous. Come on.
So if this is just a question. So if you have to go to that position one time, what's the purpose of that? If it's, just manage it better or?
No,
It's
it's,
Oh, just something that you
Federal
have.
It is a
compliance.
Okay.
federal
Yes.
requirement.
Federal
Yeah.
compliance.
The 340B
exactly.
program.
Yeah, it just didn't make much sense.
The
for that,
340B
but yeah.
program is regulated by HRSA. It's a federal agency, and they require you to have a visit or history on file to say that you're patient.
yeah.
So it's just a one-year wellness visit where you would come in, see Dr. Corcoran or one of our residents, and they would send in that prescription, and you're done.
I would like to recommend something, we talk about that, where we encourage all employees to get their annual wellness visit with the hospital.
We do it
And
every
that way,
year.
if we do that, everybody will be in compliance, if, whether they choose to use the,
Pharmacy.
hospital or not for medicine.
All right.
And also, just good to have it on record on your clients, when you have someone go.
All right. If there are no other questions, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you
We
so much.
appreciate
Thank
you.
y'all.
All right, I need
This
a,
will be really beneficial
Yep.
for y'all.
okay. Need a motion to add election commission to the agenda. And a second. Second.
y'all.
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any
Yeah.
opposed?
You will
Motion
want-
carries. That's unanimous.
Do they do
Ms. Thompson?
a wellness check on that?
Well, they don't provide this service.
Good morning.
Hey, now.
I have three things, and I did have some paperwork that I was supposed to print out and bring over, but our printer is not printing. As soon as it start printing, I'll bring it to you all. But the first thing is, we do have a runoff that's coming up November 26th, with the Supreme Court Jim Kitchens and Jennifer Brannon. So I'm coming to you all to hire election workers for that. We won't have a full staff on that simply because it's not a big election.
I need a motion.
So
And a second to approve. Thanks, Jerry.
We have budget ready.
I'm, from what it is, we're looking at about 38,000 estimated.
All in favor, show by, any other questions, I'm sorry. If no other questions, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next thing that I had on the agenda is, we have lost another precinct. Isn't that sweet? Arms of Mercy. They have changed Arms of Mercy into this, I guess, home for abused women, homeless women, or whatever. And during the time when we had the election the last time, they had to be relocated
Oh, my God.
because of the election. And so because of that, they're saying they're going to finish out this year, this session, but the next
Okay.
election, we would have to have
Any-
somewhere else.
What
So
district
my,
is that in?
Hmm?
What district?
that's District 1.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I have a
the
second
recommendation, yeah, Lee and I have talked, and we were talking about the fire station across the street.
All right.
right across the Riggs, on Highway 1, it's a big fire, so actually
Oh,
probably
okay, the
enough
white
better.
fire station.
The volunteer fire station.
I'm saying it's a
White
white
building.
building.
Yeah, now you say there are two of them, that's one.
Yes, St. James, and we're working on that one. We're looking at the church on Main, Revival. No, it's something else now. But we're looking at that. I think it's Revival.
All right, how's,
It's right down the road from it too. trying to stay as close as possible.
Right there at Gomari or
on
something?
Main roads and, you know, so hopefully all.
Right there at Gomari Road?
No.
No.
It's right, it used to be, Impact, but it's right there on, it's before you, right when you leave the fork of Washington and,
Got it.
Main, headed south,
Mhm.
it's the first church on the right down there.
Got it.
And then the second place is the church behind St. James.
Okay.
That's the
All right,
two.
sounds good. What we need to do, take a,
Well, you're still talking with them right now,
Right.
and
Mhm.
just trying to make sure none of this, we're okay for this election, but, you know, next year we have.
And we don't have any
Okay.
elections next year.
okay. Now, there's a contract, I'm sorry.
Only municipal, but we don't, unless we contract it.
All right, there's a contractual agreement with these precincts, let me call them that. Do we need to upgrade those contracts?
Only thing we got is city elections.
Just asking.
With the people we already have it with.
When I with the new ones you're about to take on. You've seen the
Well,
contract?
she hasn't
Mr. Wood?
secured them yet.
I haven't-
not.
Yeah, they're not secure yet, so there's no contract at this point.
Okay, but before you do,
Yeah, nobody's gave her the initial, you know, in reality, I don't see the fire station being a problem, and then the church, you know, I think it'll be fine, I think they'll work with us, but just wait till she gets the final go-ahead, you know, on that.
well, it's nothing wrong with making sure everybody clearly understand expectations about access, cleanup, and that kind of thing. It's always good to make sure we're all on the same page through a contractual agreement.
Okay.
So if y'all can get together and make sure the contract's good.
Do you have a copy of the contract with those items in there that, the services we generally provide?
I do not. I have not seen that contract.
Oh, my goodness. And the pay.
They were in place, they
That's
were
a
in
good
place
question.
before.
What?
That's a very good question. I think it's,
All right.
I think it's more oral than anything. We may have
It
to
is.
develop one.
And the only reason I ask,
Yeah.
there's always a nightmare about access.
Yes.
There's always a nightmare about access on election morning. Where are the keys? You know,
Well, we
the
have
day
a-
before,
Right,
that kind
we
of
have a
thing.
process that we normally do. We'll call and let them know that this election is taking
Okay.
place, and we need somebody in place by 5:45 or 6 a.m.
And
And
it's-
generally, they're there.
It's always good to have a document that states that.
I
It's
agree.
always good that they clearly understand what we can do, what we can't do. Because we've had people ask us to replace doors, do other, we'll call it ancillary type work around the precinct. It might not be legal. I did not know there was not a contract. Mister, you figured out, I'm sorry, Ms. Brooks, figured out.
Have y'all had a
We'll
problem
figure it
where
out.
you couldn't get into a bill before election day?
I have not, we had a simple problem this election, but we finally got in touch with the person and they were there to open it up. But we have not had a major problem where it wasn't open at 6 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, y'all make it happen. Anything else you need from us, Ms. Thompson?
Yes, we're coming before you in reference to our conference that take place February 5th, but our deadline date is December 30th. And the only reason I'm coming to you all this early is because we've been having problems with the mailing system, sending stuff out, and it's not getting there in enough time.
Okay.
So I want to.
That's
go ahead.
travel, right? Travel, you said?
This is our conference that we have to be certified every year.
All right.
Y'all can do it electronically, I'm just asking.
Do the, no.
Some of 'em.
We gotta have the numbers.
5,898.
Total for everybody.
That's for everybody.
I got a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
And that's it.
Hey, appreciate you.
And I'll get the paperwork to you. Okay.
All right, Ms. Moore. Now, Ms. Moore, on the agenda, we have number 10. That's a continuation of a hearing. Walter Ray Sr.
All right, Mr. Ray is not here this morning, but I was out
Wait
there.
a minute. I gotta go to a hearing still. That's a continuation.
Yes. Well,
He's not here, but what do you want me to do? Make sure we're legal.
no, you just acknowledged in the minutes that he was
Not here?
notified to be here, that this was a continuance of his hearing,
All right.
and that,
Okay.
his failure may result in default against him.
That's
In
fine.
other words, whatever
What up,
she's
miss?
asked to be done can be done, huh?
He was here at the last meeting and you continued it.
That's correct. So,
But we didn't tell him he had to be here, did we? We
Yeah,
didn't
he
tell
was
him in-
told to be here.
yeah,
Who told him?
right,
Mr. Griffin?
yeah,
Oh, you must sidebar and told them, cause
No,
you
no,
didn't tell me in the
no,
meeting.
no, no,
Yes.
it was announced.
Yeah, give us the update. Yeah,
Not,
give-
not very much. I
But
was
it's
out
been
there
some
yesterday.
update, but it's been
Give us
some
the update.
update.
Yeah.
Get that man a chance.
That's yesterday, after.
He's made some improvements.
A-Bad Road.
Very little.
God dog it.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah, man. It was, oh, it's, it. Lee. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Golly.
you said this is before,
What you have in your head is
sorry.
after.
after?
No,
Yes, it is. He
that's,
after.
that's after.
This
That
is
was
before.
yesterday.
This is the
This
before.
is before.
Yeah, that's after.
I can't tell.
Because
You can't see the difference.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying, but not much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But
Is it need for me to take a motion for the process to continue? That's where we are right now. No. We didn't stop it. No, we didn't stop it. He's still in process.
I think we should,
Give him 30 days.
I think, I was gonna say,
Supervisors want the pictures, man.
I think that,
I ain't gonna give him no third day.
I think we should give, give another extension, cause we
No.
do see progress.
Mm-mm. Let me be clear about this. This problem has been going on for a couple of years. And all of a sudden it started, talked with him, slowed up, but it's gotten worse. And since the last meeting, he was given notice it hadn't happened. It's terrible going down A-Bad Road with that property. So I'm gonna ask the board to please just keep it in process, keep moving forward, not to give any extensions. And, Ms. Moore, what is the next step?
well, I was gonna ask the board for the county to go in and clean that property, cause he's not gonna do it.
That's fine. If that's the next step, what's the process of making that happen?
Well, for the board to approve for the county to go in and clean it and assess its.
Isn't there some court processes involved?
No.
sir.
Just move right on the property and start moving?
Is that what y'all wanna do?
Let me explain the process. Ms. Moore has given him notice in writing.
Mm-hmm.
He has appeared before this board.
Mm-hmm.
He has had 2 additional
You can
meetings
see the difference.
to make progress.
See,
And if progress has not been made based upon
I agree.
the recommendation of Ms. Moore, the board can take appropriate action, whatever that action is.
Okay.
Okay?
Need a motion to accept or approve the action Ms. Moore is requesting.
Well, I mean, we've already, it's in motion, because we didn't stop it.
Yeah, but now we gotta,
The only motion I would think we need, if we wanted to stop it, or give 30 days, because we never stopped it. It just, I mean, the motion,
move forward.
Yeah, just move forward. Because like I said, the motion, that was the reason that we
Right.
said weekly. So we got,
Okay.
and that, to me, it's in Carl's district,
Yeah,
Move forward. Let's go.
This would be my recommendation, because moving forward is vague, broad. This would be my recommendation. Since we were here,
2
on
weeks
the
ago.
4th,
Mhm.
okay, and the next meeting is on the 2nd, to give him until the 2nd, to
December.
finish the job, because he would essentially have had a month, okay, from the last meeting.
Yeah.
I agree with that, cause to be honest, if you look at the pictures, the man has done some work. I mean, if you really take time to look at him,
But as
he
part
has
of that,
done some work.
as part of that, to direct Ms. Moore to notify him that he must have made,
Should be-
cleaned it up,
should be
or at least
completed.
substantial compliance by the 2nd. Okay? To your satisfaction.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank
Oh,
you.
one other question. Where do we stand on 17 Buck Alley? Winterville.
That's coming up next month for a public hearing,
All right, next month for
for the
public
board
hearing.
approval.
All right.
Before she leave, you need a motion to make certain you got the action you expect her to take in the minutes. And him to take.
with him, to let him know he's got a second, so moved.
I got a motion. Need a second? Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Moore. Okay, that one's off. Got everything. Did I miss anybody? Mark, did you want something?
I'm sorry.
Roy, you good? All right, Ms. Carter.
Have spent 16% of our budget through November 18th, through 26th. Received deposit November 2nd through the 17th, total $489,455.45.
Need a motion to approve? I got a motion, I need a second. Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting travel for county officials to attend the 2025 MAS Midwinter Conference on February 4th through the 8th, 2025 in Flowood, Mississippi, with estimated cost of $5,000 and permission to use the county credit card.
Got a motion, need a second. Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Please let the administrator know whether you plan to attend or not.
Requesting travel for Clayton Norris to attend the bridge inspection, maintenance, and repair training on November 18th through the 19th in Jackson, Mississippi, with an estimated cost of $100. The training is free.
Got a motion? And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, that's unanimous. Yeah, yeah. Figure it out. Figure it out. All right, the amendment is for two? Amendment is for two. Is that amenable with the board? There's amendment to the motion. Include two people instead of one. All right. All in favor, show by sign of aye. All, it carries. Everybody's unanimous. Go ahead, Ms. Carter, I'm sorry.
Requesting payment in the amount of $140,206.50 to Kessler Tile Company for the final payment on the DHS Florence project. They're completed.
We went by, there was a few spots that had blue tape on them for them to completely seal, but it's pretty much done. They've gone in and painted. I haven't been back since then. We had a couple of leaks that they were getting squared away. Not Kessler, but Jeremy and his guys. Flooring, yeah, it's finished. But when you get a minute, please go by and take a look.
Ever resolved completely? Remember there was a plumbing problem in the back.
Yes.
Overflowing, that is resolved?
Yeah.
And I know we got the AC done, so that should take care of it.
Well,
Other than the parking lot, we want to do something.
They've got to redo the parking lot. We've got some numbers. I can't remember what they were, but we're looking at redoing the parking lot. We may end up, we'll just figure that one out. But I'll have the numbers for you at the next meeting. That's resolved. There was a lot of touch-up to be done on the inside of the buildings. Hopefully they've gotten that done. DHS is ready to move back. But we've got to make sure all the leaks are squared away, floors done. No, it wouldn't, but you know, I wish we were able to go ahead and had gotten the parking lot done, but we kind of missed it, but we'll make it happen in sections while they're working.
Did you get a motion?
I got a motion to approve. Did I get a motion? I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Reminders, the administration / board of supervisors, Christmas party scheduled for December 4th at 12 p.m. in our building.
We hadn't had one in so long, I forgot about it.
Once it's COVID, so we got
When is that?
How much
December 4th.
how much do we have to put in?
Will you set aside a?
We've really taken care of it.
Huh?
We've taken care of it.
Okay.
So anything you want to offer,
No, I can keep my $10.
plenty for everybody.
Set aside a money.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I'm gonna send it myself.
All right.
Whiskers Annual Fundraising Banquet, scheduled for December 13th, 2024 at 5:15 at the Convention Center. Last meeting, I did putting out boxes, something from the library director, Mr. Sidney Cobb. If you get a minute, just read it. It's some issues that they had over at the library that needs to be addressed.
Give me
Put it in our packet.
yeah, what are the issues?
Asbestos.
Huh?
Asbestos.
What's the remedy?
I don't know, they come to the board for that.
Oh, well,
Which library?
ain't but one. Which one?
I mean, the main library?
Evan.
Who done?
That's ours.
Who's asbestos? Who sent the letter?
The library director.
But how do they know it's asbestos? You have to have that test.
They did.
They had
The
it
sure
tested.
came in.
They sure come and done the testing?
Yeah.
Who paid for that?
Apparently they did.
And where at, I'm just curious, I'll read over it, I'm just curious where
It's
it's at.
at 874 Riverside Road.
Yeah, but I mean, cause the front room has got the laying tile, I'm just curious where, every time that asbestos is tile floor.
Could you get with them, Lee?
Yep, tile, first layer, floor tile, first room, second layer, floor tile, third layer,
Yeah.
first, and the second room. So it looks like flooring.
All right. Lee, can you get with them and kind of give us an update? See what that is.
Yeah, y'all have it. You want mine? Yeah, I can just, we
Print
print
it.
from my. That was it.
That's it.
Yeah, and I also put the resumes in your boxes for you to go through.
All right, for the road manager. That's over now, isn't it? That's closed now, right?
So we need to take these and take a look at them. I would suggest maybe by next meeting, take a look at them and see what's there.
All right, that's it. You got anything for us, Ms. Burnday? All right, we'll take care of that. Chief? Yeah.
Just one thing, Chief Barber had to get the paper together here, but I was coming for you for December 2nd through the 4th, Sheriff Conference in Biloxi for me and Chief Barber. He'll get the price and everything to Mr. Carter.
We gonna need, I got a motion and a second. We just need the numbers, and we'll,
Make sure we give them there, it's already in the budget.
all in favor, show a sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I do have a question. Have y'all, I know it's on Jeremy, but have y'all seen anything with electrical stuff out there? They start doing anything on the electrical at the shop?
He tell me that some folks start this week.
Okay.
This week, see?
Chief, you did an investigation on an accident. It involved a county vehicle that Supervisor Brooks was driving. Did you finish that investigation?
I didn't do the investigation per se, but there was a report done yesterday.
You have the report?
I gave a copy of it to Ms. Jaleesa. You got a copy of it, go ahead.
Update, you got the copy?
I just take a look at what you got. You need to see it?
No, I just need to know what the findings were.
But right now, I can tell you what the findings were that we found is that that was an accident involving Ms. Brooks that she called one of the deputies, and this was September the 21st, I believe it was, which is the day of the Blues Festival. And deputy did call and ask about doing the report, and it was reported several days later.
It was the next day.
And, well, next day. And as I always ask the first question, and that it happened, I asked him where it happened. He said it happened in the parking lot of the Way Church. So first thing I said was, why wasn't the Greenwood Police called? Because if the Washington County Sheriff Department vehicles is involved in an accident inside the city limits, then we call Greenwood PD to work the accident. So that was my reason for asking that question. So it went on anyway. He took a report and he got it listed as damaged vehicle, property damage to a county vehicle. And it stated that Ford 250 white in color, tag number GH76617, Marla Brooks was the person driving, and stated that about 10:30 a.m. she was at the Way Church parking lot meeting someone to hand off some tickets, and said that she hit a concrete barrier in the Way parking lot. And the deputy did go out there. He took pictures of the pole that was damaged, and he tried to do a follow-up, and on his report, he said that he couldn't make any contact with Ms. Brooks. He tried to contact you by phone.
Who tried to contact me?
The deputy that
Who
you
was the
called
deputy?
Sergeant Young. He said he tried to contact you by phone. He even went by your residence, and there was no contact made. Now, being as read on this report that he's saying all of that, then there was nothing else at that point that he could do, Mr. President. But I will like to add that I asked a question some weeks ago, who was you all governor up under, and it was told to me that the state of Mississippi. So if that being the case, the sheriff, no disrespect, then I guess the state of Mississippi need to be doing this investigation, because there's
as an officer, if they was involved in something like this, to this magnitude, it'd be leaving the scene of an accident. And also, if they didn't report it the day of, then we take disciplinary action. I mean, we would suspend them. So I don't know what your all plans are, but I'm just telling you from the point of what the department that I'm over, that if somebody was to do that. So, but that's where we at. There's some pictures, there's some photos of the metal barrier, and there's also some photos of the truck.
Okay. Ms. Brooks, anything you want to add?
Well, at first I did not know I was under investigation.
Well, it's not that you're under investigation, it's that that's an investigative report that when a deputy is called, we do them.
Yes, sir, I do understand, but again, I was not aware I was under investigation. For clarity, as soon as I had the accident, I immediately called the county administrator.
On Saturday?
Yes, I called her on Saturday morning immediately. After that, she advised me to contact the sheriff deputy. So that's why I called the sheriff deputy, because the county administrator advised me. From there, I did call two, but they were not on duty. So then I asked them for another number, and I did get a number from another gentleman, and he did come and he looked at the vehicle the next day. What I was doing, I was meeting with some citizens. I was giving them Blues Festival tickets on that Saturday morning, because prior to, I was coming back from Panama. I was in Panama, and I went to Colombia, out the country, and I made it back that Saturday morning, about 12 o'clock that morning. And I went to bed, and I knew people wanted their Blues Festival tickets. So as soon as I woke up, I went and took Citizens Blues Festival tickets, and one of the people in the county I got some tickets for, they met me at the church. And as I was driving off, I hit the little stump. I didn't see it. The truck is a very, very big truck. So I thought I went by the correct protocol. And like I said, I contacted the county administrator immediately, effectively, as soon as it hit. I had witnesses that I called her, and she just acknowledged it. But I was displeased that one of the sheriff deputies did go to the church and told the church people that they investigated me because I did not report the accident, and that was not accurate. I didn't appreciate him defaming my character as if it wasn't Mr. and it was not Mr. Young. It was another officer. So the people at the church called and told me that they investigated me and I did not report it, and I did report it. I reported immediately, effectively.
No, come on.
Also, one other thing, and if the highway patrolman need to investigate me, they can. They won't be the first and they won't be the last. I'm almost sure. I said what that day? Hold on, I'm sorry. So explain what you say again, Pastor. No, I did not say that. You just made that report to me.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
So I was just saying, if the highway patrolman or the governor need to investigate me, they can, because I've had somebody investigate me again, and guess what? Nothing came out of it because it was all lies. You can go ahead and leave.
All right, Lee, thank you.
This was probably about 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning. I called Charlisa first. I called them. I called two officers maybe 20 minutes after I talked to, two sheriff deputies after I talked to Charlisa, but she told me just call someone from the sheriff department. I called them. I didn't get any. But one person I called, and they just told me they were not on duty. And I said, well, who can I get? And they recommended the young man, Dion. And I said, can you send me the number? And he said, yes. By this time, I had left by then. And so I did call him and get a time. And he came, and he looked at the thing the next day, the truck. Well, the thing was already down. It was just laying down in the middle of the ground. It wasn't like I knocked something down. It was, if you go see the stump been laying down there for the longest. It's just that when I was driving off, I did not see it because the truck is so high.
Just for clarity and the right thing to do, I think whatever the procedures need to be done, that's what needs to be done. If it needs to be the Highway Patrol to investigate, then I think that's what we need to do, just let them do it.
Okay.
I agree with the deputy chief on that.
Well, they've already done an investigation, but we can do a second one on me if you like.
All right, Sheriff.
I just want to try to clear up a little bit. We got this report on the 23rd September, and happened on
That's Monday.
21st of September. And I want to make it clear, Ms. Brooke, we was not investigating you.
Well, let's go back. That's what the gentleman
Ma'am,
told.
If you're fine, if you'll let me say that. We was not investigating you. Anytime that a report come in, first of all, the report should have went to the sheriff department, not to a deputy. We cause the sheriff department to make reports, and they would send a deputy out. The report should have been done the other way, but it was called in on the 23rd, and we sent a deputy to handle the report that what had happened in the parking lot. It wasn't investigating you. It was the vehicle that you was driving in there that we had to do the report. The only way that we could do the report, that we have to ask questions.
I don't have a problem
Whoever
with
was
that.
at the church in here, no disrespect to nobody or whatever it is, we just did what we had to do. A call came in to the sheriff's department. A county vehicle was involved in it, and Ms. Brooks was driving, and they asked. And I will make sure that I'm aware of any accident that happened with county vehicles before we even do a report.
Okay, I just,
This day forward.
yes, sir. I just want to be clear. If we're gonna be detailed, it was Mr. Parson. He went to the Way Church and he told them that they were investigating me because I did not report the accident. And the young lady, I know you got it. You the shakedown guy. She said to me that that's not accurate because I was standing by you when you made the call. And so that's who told the members at the church that I was being investigated because I did not report it. So maybe you need to follow up with your investigator or whatever his title is, Mr. Parson, to see why did he tell the church members I was being investigated because I did not report it. And the church member was right there when I called. Actually, I had Mrs. Carter on speaker when I called, and she heard the whole conversation for clarity.
All right, let me do, come on, Sheriff.
Finish up there, Mr. McGee in here. Sheriff Department went out and made a report.
Got it.
We can call it investigation or whatever you wanna call it in here. That's the way that we investigate a case out there. You go there, it's just asking questions there. If they use it as investigation, that's fine.
Right.
We took the report, we finished with it. They're gonna be left up to the board, whatever they want.
Thank you.
Mr.
All right,
Sheriff,
Ms. Brooks,
Mr.
you got
Sheriff,
it.
I just want to be clear. I don't have a problem with no investigation. If that's your protocol, I don't have a problem with it. That's why I immediately called the sheriff deputy myself after the county administrator advised me to. I ain't got no shame. I ain't got nothing to run from or hide.
All right, Chief, go ahead.
For clarity, the sheriff said it, I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. Call your department, which is the sheriff's department. We have a system they call the CAD system. Every call that comes.
The what system?
The CAD system.
Well, I'm not familiar with that.
Every system every call that comes through is being monitored, is being taken and been electronically put in a log, so that we have to revert back to it, then it's there.
I have no problem with it. I can get all the time from C Spire to show who I called. I called two other, like I said, officers, and they said they were not. One I didn't get, and the other one said they were not on duty.
Calling them, that's why we at this point now.
Well, you know what? I just listened to the county administrator. She just told me get a sheriff deputy, and that's what I did.
See, the call, well, the sheriff department was not contacted on Monday. All right, let me.
No,
finish
that's
up.
not.
I
No,
got to wrap this up.
let's be clear. If you're gonna tell it right. I did call a sheriff, did talk to him. He explained to me he was not on duty, and he gave me a number of another sheriff deputy, and I called him.
All right, if anyone has an accident in a county vehicle, you must report to the sheriff department, not an individual. And to leaving the scene of an accident is a major.
I didn't leave the scene, and Mr. President, if you're gonna talk about it, we could talk about other accidents where employees did not call the sheriff department. They called the board attorney, they called different people. You are very much familiar with it because you gave them your vehicle, and guess what? And you did, and none of that was reported. So I know it's you trying to bring an attack on me, but it's not no attack because I'm covered by the law.
Can you let me finish attacking?
Well, but don't lie on me.
I'm not gonna lie on you.
Okay.
All right, let me be clear about it. All right, Jerry, we're gonna wrap it up. You left the scene of an accident. What was the
No,
damage
I
to the
did
property?
not leave the scene
damaged
of, first of all, don't
county's
lie
truck.
on me. I
And
did
if
not
the
leave
pedestal-
the scene
if the
of an
pedestal was
accident.
down,
I called the county administrator and I went by what she advised me to do.
Okay. Well, county truck was wrecked. Now we got the bottom of it. Now your truck is ready. Your truck is ready to go. And you need to go ahead and relinquish the other big truck you in that you can't see out of. Is there a problem with you picking up your truck?
Well, actually, this truck is better than the other truck because
No.
actually it's not as bigger.
No. You're
Yes.
assigned one vehicle.
Well, I just wait and deal with it when,
No. Let me be
no,
clear
you
about
don't
something.
tell me what to do.
I'm gonna tell you this.
You don't tell me what to
You
do.
are in an unauthorized vehicle.
Well, I'm gonna keep driving it until I go pick the car up. What you gonna do, take it from me?
Yeah.
Well, take it from me with your bad self.
That's for this board to decide, but let me make something perfectly clear here. No one has ever called this lawyer, about an accident rather than making proper calls.
Well, if she did, she told me she called you.
Who?
I ain't gonna
Who
call
said
it.
that?
The office, the employee that was driving President Carl McGee vehicle, county vehicle that was not assigned to her.
She did not call me about an accident.
Okay. What did she
Now-
call you about?
Let me make this perfectly clear. There are statutes governing process, okay? And when you have an accident, and if the damages exceed $50, and all board members need to know this, $50, then you must call law enforcement, all right? Law enforcement. That's the first step, and allow them to come to the scene and conduct a thorough investigation. Why, before you leave the scene, otherwise you can be charged with leaving the scene of an accident. Right? So, and that, that's my take on it. I'm not saying you left the scene or anything, but I'm saying what the law mandates that you do. You remain there to allow them to conduct an investigation.
All right, Mr. Griffin, help me understand this now. There was a loaner vehicle issue. No problem with that. The administrator decides she needs something to drive a loaner vehicle. Her vehicle is now repaired, the one that she was assigned to by this board.
Oh, yes. The board assigned vehicles, all right, by majority vote of the board. And if you are assigned a vehicle, then if you want to turn that one back in, and the board vote to accept that and issue you a new vehicle, it can. All right? That's the process.
Okay.
All right?
But if just to say, I'm gonna keep driving, I got this vehicle, I'm gonna just keep it, what is that?
Then you could have some problems, insurance-wise or otherwise, if something happens.
Because you're not, that's not the one you're assigned by the minutes.
That's correct.
What are you driving?
It's a
No, it's-
smaller truck. It's a Silverado. The other truck is
It was Mark Johnson's new 2500 Chevrolet in HD. High-profile vehicle just like that one, but it was the road manager's truck. When the accident happened, Ms. Carter allowed her to use a spare, extra truck, not knowing, that she would intend to switch and keep the truck. Her truck is repaired and ready to go, and it's time for her to pick up her truck that she's assigned and get back in it and relinquish the truck that's assigned to the road department.
Mr. President, I was not trying to switch. That was not the case. I think you just say a lot of
Well,
things
I apologize
inaccurate.
if that's not the case. We'll look for you to go ahead and relinquish the truck.
I
and get back
will.
to yours.
I will eventually.
Not eventually, Ms. Brooks.
I said eventually.
You're not on the insurance. Don't hurt us now.
I'm on insurance.
Not on this truck, you're not.
So was our insurance for the time when they repaired it?
With the other truck, yeah.
So what's the difference between there today?
Assigned one truck.
Okay, just
Please
like you,
get back in that truck.
so when you allow an employee to drive your county truck,
Let me help you
and,
with
and
that.
it was not assigned to it,
Let me help you with that.
what happened with that?
Let me help you with that one. County employees can go in and out of vehicle
Okay.
as employees. You're a policymaker. That's different. You can't get on a side-by-side, a lawnmower, or drive an assortment of vehicles. That's a law, that's a statute.
Can you get that statute for me, Mr. President?
No, you just.
Cause
get back into your
is it
vehicle.
something you're just making up out your brain?
No, just you get back into your vehicle and we.
I will eventually.
Okay, we'll do what we gotta do.
Do what you gotta do with your bad self.
Anything else? No, we can do self-reporting. Now, let me do this for you. The initial plan was to get the incident report, and we didn't want to turn it on insurance. We asked the road department, hey, hold up, do not. Looking at the damage, bracket, section of bumper, you all fix that. Everything is not an insurance claim. And it was not to hide anything, but it was to go ahead and just get the vehicle fixed, back up and running, so the supervisor would have access to it. And after, I didn't find out about the accident until the following week, and didn't know the vehicle that she was in until much later, which was, not a concern because her vehicle was down. But now their vehicle's ready to go, and it's time to switch back. Thank God nothing happened while she was driving the road department vehicle. But it's time to get back into the vehicle that's assigned. That way, everything's legitimate. The insurance is covered and all that. Because I'd hate to have something happen with the 2500, just a high-profile vehicle as well, and we have exposure with that.
I guess, but still, I still ask the question, do we need to, just for clarity, the proper way is to let the state, the Highway Patrol just do the investigation?
Anytime you ask that question, the answer is yes.
Okay, well then that's what we need to do.
Okay. Okay.
So
Do we do that, or does the sheriff department?
Let me get the attorney get together, and we have the report right now.
The deputy chief can answer that. Do y'all request that, or do we request that? You have to request it. From the Highway Patrol?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make the request. Don't need a motion for it. We'll go ahead and make the request.
Y'all understand that this accident occurred some
We do.
2+ months ago?
We do.
Okay. All right.
So we just need to dot the i's and cross the t's. That's all.
Yes.
We do. It's not a.
And let me say this. I think it's imperative that this board takes some action, because Ms. Brooks is in a vehicle that the minutes do not reflect that she should be operating. So it's critical that this board takes some action to document what is taking place, because you cannot be operating a county vehicle without board approval, and something happens when everybody knows about it, and there's nothing reflected in the minutes. This board speaks through its minutes.
Okay.
The minutes right now, as we sat here, reflect that Ms. Brooks had a vehicle that she caused the county to purchase, okay? And that she was operating up until this accident. Then she was placed in another vehicle. There's nothing in the minutes to reflect that she's assigned to that vehicle as of this day. So now, it's up to this board to take some action in the minutes right now to decide what it gonna do, one way or the other.
I'd hate for the board to have to do any of that, because she said she would turn it back in.
Well,
That's all it takes.
and I'm hearing Ms. Brooks said, essentially, when she get ready.
She's a little bit more reasonable than that, Mr. Griffin. We don't need, as part of the minutes, I don't, but I'm believing Ms. Brooks gonna do the right thing.
Yes.
She's gonna put the county at risk. So, no, that's me. It's up to the board, but I'd rather.
What are you gonna turn the trophy? What are you gonna change?
I don't wanna do that.
Probably this evening.
See that? That's fine. I'm gonna take that. I got to, but I just don't want that to cross our minutes. All right, Lee's out. Ms. Brooks? We're gonna close out.
Okay, yeah, I want to go back. This we get out the update. Okay, so I brought to the board's attention earlier with the minutes that it was inaccurate. Now, first, I do have a question, Mrs. Bernadine. When I sent you the email to place those items on the agenda, why weren't they placed on the agenda?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, can you talk a little louder? I can't. Can you talk a little? Can you talk in your microphone? I can't hear you. I'm asking you to talk in microphone so I can hear you.
Yeah, I did that.
When you approached me to add the items on the agenda, you mentioned Eddie Brown, and I told you to send me an email to that effect.
Right.
At that time, it was already past the time to submit requests.
Right.
I then called the president and the attorney regarding the request that you had.
Yes, ma'am.
At that time, I was directed not to put those items on the agenda that could be added at the meeting. But I took Mr. Brown's name based on word of mouth with you, because that was the name that you gave me initially in the hallway.
Okay, I got a question.
That's how that one ended
Well,
up.
ma'am, I didn't say to get, I didn't tell you why Mr. Brown, but when I was putting Mr. Brown on there, on that agenda item, it said to use the convention center. I never told you that.
You told me that, Ms. Brooks, in the hallway.
No, ma'am,
Hold up, we're gonna do this.
Can I get finished? First of all, I didn't place that item on the agenda. I told you Eddie Brown, I didn't say what he wanted it for. But the other piece is I sent you an email, so you're saying my email to add long switch to the agenda, the email that said to add county engineer to the agenda, you were advised not to place it on the agenda by Mr. President? Well, on there, when I, okay, what's the time frame?
After the fact, it gets added at the meeting.
Okay, so when I sent you the email, you said you've been waiting on it. That's the response you sent to me.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Now, the other concern, going back to the minutes, I said voted nay on the minutes, and I explained to you that there's some inaccuracies on the minutes. If you go to page number 30, it said, be it that Marla Brooks made a motion to prepare Long Switch Road from County Line Road to the railroad track and to hire IMS to do work as the county engineer, and Mr. McGee seconded. That is not accurate. When I initially made the motion, Attorney Griffin told us that we could not use use tax dollars to do with another engineer. And so I rescinded the motion, and then I turned around and made a second motion to hire IMS as the county engineer. That's not in the minutes, and Mr. McGree seconded that motion, and we took a vote. So this is completely inaccurate what you got in here. The motion about Long Switch no motion was even made for that. I just rescinded that and made a second motion, and it does not reflect that in these minutes.
Okay.
No, let's be clear.
We'll go to the recording.
Let me go, go back to the recording, because that is very, and actually, Mr. Griffin, when I was talking about use
Only have one
engineer.
state aid engineer at one time.
All right, but after I said long switch for use tax, that's when you made that comment, Attorney Griffin. And when we start talking about state aid is when Mr. President said that the board has to go through it together on those dollars, and I made a reference that he used $2.8 million of all the state aid money to repair one road in his district, and none of us got any of our roads repaired. So when that took place, that's when I made the motion to hire IMS is the county engineer, and Mr. President McGee second the motion. So you may want to go back to if you can't understand it.
Wait.
I'm talking about, can I get finished? You may want to go on, I'm saying you may want to go on FaceTime, because it's, FaceTime is very, very clear. I'm saying if the audio, if the audio is not clear enough from you, you can go on Facebook, and it's very clear on Facebook. And I'm not finished, I'm not done yet.
We gotta go.
Okay, my other concern is to attorney. So Attorney Griffin, if I need to add items to the agenda, and the president don't want the items on the agenda, how can I represent my is that, I mean, all right, can I get finished? So if I wanna put some on the item 8 times, does he have the right to stop me from placing anything on the agenda?
Now, outside of a board meeting, okay, the board president can work with the clerk to decide what ought to be placed on the agenda. And normally
Can't hear you.
normally what generally ought to happen is matters ought to be submitted to the board president and the clerk to say, from individual board members, I want this on the agenda. There is an alternate way if the board president fails to add them to the agenda, okay, or to notify the clerk to place them on the agenda. Then at the board meet itself, from the outset, you make a motion to add those items to the agenda.
So you're saying to me that if I submit items to, as I've been doing in the past for the last 5 years, if I send items to the chancellor clerk to place the items on the agenda, and if the president does not want the items on the agenda, they have to take it off?
The clerk, yeah, the board president has that option right now because it is not, because the board president is supposed to ensure that a proper agenda is prepared, okay?
So
Let me finish.
Okay.
Ms. Brooks. All right, now, if the board president failed to add an item that you want on the agenda, then you bring it to the board meeting, all right? That's plain Robert's Rules of Order. Bring it to the board meeting, and at the board meeting, ask that it be placed on the agenda. And if the board president still rules it out of order, because essentially, when it's not placed on the agenda, it has been ruled out of order by the board president, all right? The board president.
Can I have a question?
Let me finish.
Okay.
The board president rules it out of order, then you appeal to a majority of the board. Now, that's just plain black letter Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
And you know that.
No.
You know this already.
I mean, apparently I don't know this. Attorney Griffin, so what is considered things to be placed on the agenda that's out of order?
There are specific items that go on the agenda that go directly to the clerk. I never said anything was out of order.
Well, you said
No, you haven't heard me say any item was out of order.
Okay.
No, I said if the board president does not place it on the agenda, then I suggest to you that the board president has concluded that it's out of order. All right, now, and then if it's not on the agenda, you see the agenda in advance when it's public. Call the president and ask him what's going on. All right, y'all got to develop some relationship here. You need to talk to your board president. I would submit to you the best way to handle all of this is if you're gonna add something to the agenda, Ms. Brooks, call the president of the board and say, I want this on the agenda. Okay, if you would know in advance whether he said yay or nay, all right? And if he fails to place it on the agenda, then you can be prepared at the beginning of the meeting to make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, for the next board meeting in December, to Mr. President and Ms. Chancellor Clerk, I would like to add Long Switch Road on the agenda along with the county engineer and Mr. Eddie Brown to the agenda. So I'm putting it out there verbally to you for the first meeting in December. Thank you.
Right. Jerry? You good? You ready to go? All right, we got everybody? Lee, you got. Let me do this. You know, Mr. Brown was on the agenda today, and I was excited about it because I figured he would come and want to have a conversation with us, you know, about the activities or events that went on in the convention center on that particular Friday night. But I guess he was warned off or whatever it was, because on here it says for use, and of course Mr. Brown cannot use the convention center. But if he were to come in and basically have a conversation, have some dialogue, And my main concern is, right now, we have to refund money to the church because their setup was vandalized under our watch. And how much we had to pay them back, Ms. Carter? 600 or 700? $700. Did we approve that? Okay. We got to refund him, and hopefully, you know, he would have come in and we had a conversation, and he'd have made, you know, restitution to them and apology to them, not to us. Wouldn't want any extra money because of what we had to clean and everything, but, you know, we were extremely fortunate that no one was severely hurt during this event, and I'm concerned about it, but would like to have some dialogue with Mr. Brown, so, you know, we can kind of get a clear understanding, and maybe we'll see where we go from there. But evidently, we walked in, he was right there, and he chose to leave for whatever the reason may have been. But you gonna?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
I've gone around the table.
I know, I have to respond to that.
Please,
When you finish.
All right, let me be clear about something. If you want to respond for Mr. Brown.
No, I'm not responding for Mr. Brown.
Let me be clear about something.
I'm
Let me
being
be clear about my position. You attended this event. You were
I did.
complicit in what went on.
I was there.
You could be the last somebody to speak up for Mr. Brown.
I was not, my
All right.
remark has nothing to do
Let
with
me be
Mr.
clear.
Brown.
So now let me get wrapped up, and we're going to have to get out of
Okay,
here.
but I want to talk about what you just
That's
said.
fine,
My
but I'm
comment was
gonna-
not about Mr. Brown.
I'm gonna wrap this up. But hopefully we'll get a chance to have some dialogue and kind of get things worked out. You know, nobody needs to have, you know, their name on a band or anything like that, you know.
Well, you
But
did
we have
that.
to make sure, see, that's not my property. I don't own the convention center.
I didn't say you
That-
did. Nobody owns it. It belongs to the
That
county.
belongs to the taxpayers. Please, not, can I
I'm agreeing with you.
finish?
I'm agreeing with you.
All right. But we have a responsibility to look out for all assets that belongs to the taxpayers of Washington County. Some kind of conduct when things are out of control, we as elected officials cannot condone that activity. When property is damaged, guidelines and rules are completely disregarded.
And what
Somebody-
rules were regarded? What rules were regarded, Mr. President?
Somebody has to be held accountable. And that's as simply as what we're doing. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with having dialogue and moving forward. And hopefully at some point in time, if not the full board, I'll get a chance to have some dialogue with Mr. Brown. And we'll take it from there. All right.
I'd like to
we've
make a
gone around
comment.
Huh?
I'd like to respond. I talked to I talked to some of the church members, but talked to the church members who stuff you said got vandalized.
Go ahead.
And they said they did not make a request to be refunded. They said you insisted that they got refunded.
Okay, so what's your point?
So the point, you came to us and you told us that the church made a request and they
So
did
you
not
don't
make
think
the
they should be
request.
refunded?
Oh, I'm just going by what you said to
You don't
us.
think they should be ripped up?
Again, I'm just saying you told us that they made requests when they did not make requests. They said you insisted that they get their money back. So that's how they got their money back. So
Outstanding.
tell the truth and shame the devil and stop embellishing.
That we reset. Thank you, Jerry. I got a motion. We're adjourning for the month. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. That's unanimous. We all going home.